Hello, Willowdale and beyond. Welcome to Meet Your Neighbor, NeighborLink North York's weekly interview series. Each episode, we introduce you to a new neighbor in the spirit of building a more connected community. I'm Sebastian Biasucci. I'm the NeighborLink North York Marketing and Event Manager. I also produce Meet Your Neighbor, and this week I have the honor of filling in for Lily Chang as host this week. And before we get into this exciting conversation, I want to plug some of the exciting things that are going on at NeighborLink North York because what kind of marketing and event manager would I be if I didn't do that? And so one thing I want to share with everyone viewing tonight is that coming up in just over a month on April 30th, we're hosting Let's Move Willowdale, which is a move-a-thon and barbecue. So it's going to be a walk, run, ride along the Finch Hydro corridor. And there's going to be a barbecue at Hendon Park. It's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be musical performances and prizes. And I think best of all, it's a fundraiser for families and for youth from an under-resourced part of our neighborhood. And you can actually sign up right now at the link scrolling there, neighborlink.org/let's move. And other exciting NeighborLink news, this series right here, Meet Your Neighbor, which we've been doing, introducing people, wonderful people who live in our neighborhood to all of you, is becoming a podcast. So what we're doing is we're taking the Monday night interviews that we do each week. And we've also got this incredible student in the neighborhood who's a journalism master's student who's been interviewing students right here in Willowdale. So each week you'll have an opportunity to meet an adult and a student from Willowdale, and it's going to be available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, as they say. And actually, right now, the trailer is up. So if you Google or you search up Meet Your Neighbor on any of your podcast apps, you'll be able to listen and subscribe. And we'll be dropping the first 2 episodes, our first 4 neighbors this week. So you can meet neighbors while you walk through the neighborhood, while you cook and you clean your house. But anyway, enough about me chit-chatting. I want to jump into this interview because I'm really, really excited to introduce you to this neighbor. I actually get to meet this neighbor for the first time, which is really exciting. Her name is Tannia Gonzalez. She immigrated from Ecuador. She's a wonderful soul. I can tell already. She's worked in Canadian immigration. She volunteers at Toronto Dance Salsa, which is Willowdale's very own Latin dance school here in Empress Walk. She's passionate about studying dance and being a part of the Toronto Dance Salsa community because it's an opportunity to connect with people. We'll chat about that. And yeah, without further ado, let me introduce you to Tannia Gonzalez. Hey, Tannia.
Hello, Sebastian. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, excited, grateful to be here.
Amazing. Awesome. I had initially reached out to Alex, who runs the Toronto Dance Salsa school, because this was a place. So I've grown up in Willowdale my entire life. And I went to high school right by Young and Shepherd, and I'd always go to the movies at Empress Walk. And going up that ginormous escalator, I would see people dancing through the glass into Toronto Dance Salsa. And I just thought, wow, the courage, and everyone looked like they were having so much fun. And so it's been a place that's been on my mind as we've been doing these interviews to get to know this space a little bit better, because it's a place that honestly seems a bit intimidating to me. We could talk about that, but it seems like everyone has so much fun. So Alex had told me that he was teaching class right now while we were the time that we set to record, but he's like, you got to talk to Tannia. And so we got in touch, and I'm so excited that you could spare some time to chat with us.
Thank you so much. And I gotta tell, you're not the only one that feels like that. It's my own story, I would say, because before I got into actual classes, like formal classes, dance classes, I probably walked through a dance school almost for, I don't know, 1 or 2 years, thinking I should get enrolled. I should get enrolled. This would be wonderful. And for one reason or another one, mainly because a little bit, I was not able to make that decision. I delayed, and I really delayed the pleasure because
Right.
it has been a great experience for me. I started taking dance classes in Ecuador, and then I moved to Canada. And one of my main concerns was, okay, so now what? I'm gonna have to interrupt. It took me so long to build the courage and finally take classes, and now I'm not gonna be able to find where I'm gonna find a dance, a salsa school in the area. And pretty much I arrived 3 years ago. I went to Empress because I wanted to do some shopping at Lovelas, and I saw the school. And I thought, well, this time I'm not gonna make the same mistake to wait and wait and wait. And I just went there straight to the class, and I approached, and Alex went out. And he was so open, he was so warm, and like, hey, hello, like we were friends like since forever. And I thought, is he from Colombia? Is he from Ecuador? Is he from where? He looks like very Latin, and he's so nice and he's so chatty. He may be from somewhere like there. Well, he's not, but he is a wonderful, wonderful teacher. Yes. And that's how I started.
So if we could maybe backtrack even before arriving, what was the journey for you on a personal level coming to Canada and ending up living here in Willowdale? Maybe you could tell us a little bit about that journey, that part of your life.
Sure. When I arrived to North America many years ago, almost 20 years ago, I first arrived to the US. And my first experience was international student. At that time, I made so many mistakes when I was looking for an education program, and I lost time and spent in unnecessary money and all that. So that was my first contact with living abroad through education. But after that initial, misstep and all the hassle of finding the right school, finding the right program, and making all those mistakes, after that I realized that education is the best investment. So I studied in the US first. I lived there for some years. And one day someone told me about Canada. And I literally looked in the internet, which was very slow at that time. And that, remember that weird zone? I don't know, you're pretty young. I don't know if you remember, but well, whatever. So
I remember dial-up. There was a phase where I couldn't make a phone call while wanting to play video games or vice versa. Yeah.
So I saw this amazing country, and not only beautiful because it has such a beautiful nature, and it's a developed country and all that, but the values of the country is what attracted me. What Canada stands for. So although I was living in the US and I really enjoyed my time there, and I'm very grateful for those years because those were really good years. We made a decision with my family to move to Canada to bet on it and to apply for a permanent residence. It took probably 5 years for us to get an answer in regards of our application. Processing times were extremely long at the time. I finally moved to Canada after many, many years, and I came during a Thanksgiving. And we knew nobody here, like no one. It was like a very weird feeling. Toronto downtown, it was gray and it was cold. And I was thinking, oh my God, I moved from Orlando, which is very vacation town. And now I'm here and this looks very not what I expected. So that was my first impression.
And then it just got colder. I mean, Thanksgiving is pretty much tropical compared to what you were in store for in the months to come. Wow. Okay.
That's right. So, well, little by little, we start adjusting, and we went through the whole process of, what implies to move to a different country, taking jobs that you don't like sometimes, doing things that you never thought you would do. But, all that is a learning process. And that helps you to get involved in the society, in the community. And little by little, I start loving the place where I was. And later on, I used my legal background. I studied immigration because it mirrored so much my experience. And I end up working a lot with the students, which is something that is that my own story. So it was easy for me to relate and to be able to help them. So I've been doing that for many, many years, and I've been traveling back and forward. And I've been living here and in Ecuador for some time. I finally moved here to the North York area 3 years ago. And it was different this time when I arrived. I arrived to, this beautiful neighborhood, so shiny and, so, vivid, I don't know. that I was totally pleased to know that our office is in the area. So we find a place to live close by, and that's how I end up living here in New York in the Willowdale area. And I'm very happy that I took the chance because it's totally paying off. I'm very happy.
Amazing. Wow. So, what was the, you talked a little bit about this kind of this journey to be like, oh, this is a natural fit to work in immigration, to walk alongside people who are taking a journey that is so similar to yours. Um, Maybe you could talk a little bit more about the work that you do and how, um, and what that sort of process is. Like, how do you bring that sort of emotional side to the work of helping people through a process that is extremely arduous and has so many steps? How do you find that balance as you work with people?
Yeah. For the type of person I am, I had to find a job that I really like and that I really enjoy. And that doesn't mean that I haven't had those type of jobs that I didn't like, because sometimes you do it as an immigrant. You start, you know, doing things that you were not prepared, but you learn how to do it because you need to survive. You need to establish yourself. So at the beginning, I was like kind of like, okay, I'm here, what I'm gonna do. And after not that long, since I already have the experience that education is a very good way to get access to the society, to learn about the ways and how to be better prepared to settle in a country. I already had that experience in the US. So I went back and studied here in Seneca College. I went to Seneca College and studied immigration because I like it. It was, in my background, and I thought, well, I'm gonna like this, and I went back to school. So this is something that I always tell my clients, even though it's true, you need to survive and you need to take sometimes jobs that are not the best fit for you. That's okay, but don't stay there. Try to get education. Try to improve your credentials. Try to get aware of what is needed in the place you are living. Learn about the job market. Learn those kind of things, so you can maybe take a course, improve your learning or your skills, and then it's going to be easier for you to get to that final goal. So that was, the story that I was telling myself. Okay, so here what I'm going to do. Let's find something related to what I like. I found immigration and I loved it, and I started working on that. And we assist people who wants to come to Canada to live, to study, to visit. And the process is, since I love what I do, I can really do my job the best I can. And that's, if I was going to do something it was not for me, I'll probably be very grumpy because I really like to be in a situation that I can use my, let's say, my abilities to the best. So it's I think I found my place here doing immigration. I like it a lot.
Amazing. No, that's,
Mhm.
I think a lot of people can relate to that story of just, you know, and sometimes you fall into something that you love doing as well,
Mhm.
by the trial and error of it. My background is I went to theater school and I'm an actor,
Mhm.
and the pandemic happened and I lost my kind of job working in a restaurant, and the theater work all disappeared as well. And then suddenly NeighborLink arrived, and I was able to start doing the work here at NeighborLink and find this new passion I didn't know existed. And now I get
Beautiful.
to sit across from you and chat with you. So it kind of all works out, I guess, is the, if you can stumble on things that you love as well, which is part of the
It's very
discovery, especially when you're in a new place, is like you were talking about. Just you sometimes get forced into stepping outside your comfort zone and taking
Mhm.
those leaps of faith to see what is out there, and sometimes the results are even better than you could imagine, which is
Mhm.
exciting.
It's true.
I was when I was speaking to Alex on the phone, it was a few days ago. I was in my car, it was like the end of the week, and I was kind of grumpy, but I we chatted on the phone about seeing, could we talk about Toronto Dance Salsa on Meet Your Neighbor. And one thing he asked me that caught me off guard was, he's like, Sebastian, what is if you could boil it down to one word, what is the word? What are you trying to bring out in others, in yourself, in the world? And it took me back because I did not expect that question to be asking me on a quick little work phone call. And he was like, this is mine, and for the studio, it's the word belong. That the drive to make people feel like they belong in this space when they're in his company, and when they're taking the classes. And he told me what he thinks what your word is, but I was thinking maybe what you could tell us. What is the word for you that encapsulates what you try to bring out?
Okay, so my word comes from something I learned when I was a child. My mom will always say, whatever you do it from your heart, do it with love, and everything is going to be fine. And that should be the filter that guides you through your life. Of course, she did it. She said it in different words. In Spanish, sounds very different.
It sounded better, probably.
Yeah, well, those were her words in fill out with love, right? So that really got into myself, and whenever I do something, I try to do it, putting my heart on it, and
Right.
and that's a process. It takes some time to figure it out, and probably 2 years ago, I started when all the pandemic started. I started questioning, well, what I'm doing. I've been doing this for so long. Why I keep doing it? Maybe I should do something else. Maybe I should stop it all. And you will start, just taking care of my family or whatever. So I start doing why I want to do this. And at the end, it is because I really love what I do. And I really love giving people the opportunity that I had when I came to actually grow, to progress, and to live in a situation that where you have freedom and opportunities. So I love doing that, and it's a process to realizing. But once you realize your word, and normally after you do it, you start having clarity about so many other things. I don't know if it's happening to you, but you start realizing that most of the things you do have a purpose, and then it's easier to make choices. It's easier to make decisions in regards of when you are confused, because now you know your value, what's your core value, and that helps you in that process. So for me, it was something like that. It took me some time to realize, not because I didn't feel it. It was probably because it was such a big word, and when Alex told me the word, I was like, wow, it's a bit challenging. And, well, later on, I realized why the word came out in our process, in our conversation, and it is very nice, and I'm very happy that your word is joy, because totally matches your energy and totally matches what you do, and it's great. You are spraying joy. Yeah.
That's the hope. That's the hope. Yeah, that is when I didn't feel totally joyous when he asked me that question while I was driving through traffic on a Friday afternoon, but it totally changed my whole day. And so I encourage everyone to think, okay, what is the core value or word that I carry, that I try and bring out in others, and that that guides what you do.
Mhm.
One thing that we've been talking about at NeighborLink, in this year of a word that we think that we want to spread as an organization is, the word kind. We want this to be a year of kindness for Willowdale. We started something called the Willowdale Kindness Movement, to try and encourage in these super divisive times, and just where the temperature is hot, 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 and it can be really easy to feel like frustrated and negative. That if we could spread some kindness amongst neighbors and people in our community, hopefully we could change the dial a little bit. So we started that at welovewillowdale.ca. It's the simple kindness pledge that people could do, to just say, I'm going to do an act of kindness for someone, and go out and do it. And so that's a word that is also on my mind, in my day-to-day life a lot more too. So I wanted to talk, and dive into talking about your kind of experiences that you started talking about at the beginning, of entering that first dance class, and going from becoming, a dancer in the class to volunteering. What was that journey to be like, I'm gonna not just study dance, but I'm going to be a part of making it happen.
Well, I tend to be very passionate about the things I believe. And I really, um, so there's a couple reasons there. The first one, of course, is because I love dancing. I love dancing. Dancing allows me to process my emotions, and it's the perfect way for me to kind of like give my energy the right flow. So for me, dancing is a very important part of my life. It has always been. Now I do it like more frequently, and finally had the courage to start doing it. But that's one of the reasons I love dancing. And if I could have more chances to dance, perfect. But also I thought, well, that's my way to give it back, because if you are in a Latin dance, class, they are portraying your culture. Me as a Latin American woman, right? They are portraying your culture under a very positive light. Latin American countries are beautiful, and people from our countries are beautiful, but we do have social issues, and it's not a secret. So I really appreciate the the fact that there's a group of people, most of them have nothing to do with the Latin American culture, but they appreciate the music and they appreciate the dancing. And that's something that reflects what we are, a very good part of what we are. We are joyful people, right? We are kind people, and we love being in family, and we love to celebrate life.
Mm.
So that those are some of our characteristics as a culture, and Toronto Dance Salsa portrays those really well. So in my thinking, I thought, well, if I can do something to give it back, and to help this organization, because I don't see it only as a dance studio. It's much more, and we can talk about that if you want. But for
Please.
me, it's much more than that. So if I can help this organization to, in any little way, I'll be more than happy to do it. And for me, it was volunteering, right? And I was invited to be a volunteer, and I accepted gladly. And my third reason to help is because pandemia hit, right? And it was so sad to see so many business around closing and shutting down, because there was no way for them to support, to keep functioning. And being a business owner right now, I'm a business owner. It's very hard. It's in a very lonely business. And I saw how Alex really did his part in the community, because when everything else shut down, he kept giving us the opportunity to dance, to move, to keep ourselves with our spirits high. And he was receiving nothing, basically. I remember he was doing the challenges, and he would do it with Instagram, and then he would invite us to dance in the open because all the restrictions. And not only myself, but many people I know, they followed him, and all that was a bit of motivation in a very dark time for anyone, for everybody around. So I had those three I think, very good reasons why I volunteer at Toronto Dance Salsa. It's my way to give back to the community and to do something I like and I enjoy.
Incredible. Yeah, on social media at Toronto Dance Salsa, I was going through the Instagram page and saw like all the videos from the last 2 years
Yes.
of like basically dancing in the living room and trying to get people up on their feet. And I thought, yeah, that is what I needed in 2020 and 2021 is doing some salsa dancing, even though I couldn't do it for the life of me, but to like get up and move would be incredible. So maybe we could break down for folks who don't know anything about Toronto Dance Salsa.
Mhm.
What are the classes that are offered that people can take? Because it's not just salsa dancing, right?
Mhm. Yeah, so right now mainly it's salsa and bachata, and each of them, they have four levels. Like, you start the beginning level or the beginner's level, and you really don't need any experience at all. Like, it's not a requirement to nothing. You just need to be willing to, and to have some time to allocate, and that it is. You start taking level one. You can choose either bachata or you can go for salsa, whatever matches your energy best. And you have 4 levels on each type of dancing. And it's the classes are 9 weeks each level, and you really feel the progress since they are so structured, I will say. And you have your 9 weeks, and you have the same day every day. That really helps you build your ability and your confidence. And without realizing it, you start dancing. And I've seen it. I've seen it. When they take level one, when people takes level one, they feel so stressed out. I remember some students, they were like sweating, their hands were sweating because they were very anxious and nervous. But little by little, they start feeling much more relaxed. And as I said, it's not only a dance studio, it's a culture that Alex kind of like spread around dancing. So this school is not looking for perfect dancers. It's not looking for someone who wants to compete at professional level. You can, if you get to a very advanced level, you probably can. But what I would say is the main goal is to give everybody the feeling of being welcome. That you can go there, you can have a good time, you can share, make connections. People have different reasons why they take salsa lessons, but I guess that everyone sooner or later end up going because it's such a nice environment that once the classes are over, nobody leaves. I'm pretty much, and Shelly is one of the instructors as well, Mariami, Alex, and they are like so nice that it's like sometimes 11 p.m. and people still there because
Wow.
the environment is so cool. And those that's the structure, very simple: bachata, salsa, 4 levels each, 9 weeks each level. You start progressing, you start dancing wonderfully. And you're not the one that dances nice, very nice. That's the one that gets the beautiful girls. So if you're having doubts, yeah.
Okay, well, sign me up. I'm registering right now. You just keep talking, and I'll just sign up right now. No, that's incredible because you hear that sometimes, and you're like, okay, is it really for beginners? And then you're going to get there, and it's like 5, 6, 7, 8, ba-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. But I get the feeling from you that it really is like there to build people up and so what you're saying, because you said it's a great way to meet someone. You know it's not that I need to show up, oh, here's my dance partner and we're ready to go. You can also arrive and bring yourself the best thing you can bring on your own and be partnered up. Is that something that could happen as well?
Okay, so it was a little break in the communication. So you're asking if you have to come by yourself or if you have to bring a partner? Was that the question?
Yes. Can you come on your
Yeah.
own and be partnered up with someone?
Okay. Okay. I understand that 40% of people that come and register are couples, and they are coming with their own partner, and 60% of them are people who come and they are just singles and they want to have the experience. Most of the people want to try something new. Some want to make friends, and some of them, they just, they're looking, I don't know, for connection, love, so many things, right? But doesn't matter if you come by yourself or if you come in as with your partner. It is going to be, I think, a very good experience. As a partners, I think from what I've seen, it's something that gets them closer.
Mm,
Dancing, it's a very powerful activity because the touching, the smiling, and all
for
this
sure.
time that you share with that person. So I've seen that couples that go and start dancing together and learning, they really get even closer. They always leave with such a big smile. And for those singles, well, they have the chance to meet people and to create their own tribe. It's very nice. So it doesn't matter. It's fine.
Awesome. Great. No, I just wanted to clarify that. And I think you spoke to the like welcoming kind of community and culture that gets built within that but within that studio. I think even on the wall it says the word family, right? I've seen that in some of the posts. So it really is even that, it's a family that already exists, but also seems that one that is always welcoming new family members, that it's not this club that exists that, oh, can I is there room for me? Is everyone already established in this family? But it seems like the family's always growing.
Yeah, and I think those are the values that the school promotes: growth, education through dancing, and belonging. So mainly, if you vibe with those values, you will be in the right place. Everyone is welcome. Everyone is welcome. Doesn't matter what's your level of expertise or your age. If you can be very young, and or you can be a senior person, you will find lots of benefits from doing salsa or bachata. And I don't know if you try salsa or bachata, but no.
No, I
Okay.
haven't. No.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe at the all inclusive after like a few, I don't think you can call it salsa and I don't think you can call it bachata, but it was something induced by a few, margaritas is the most I've done. So I need some training. Yeah.
Okay, well, now you have the chance. Now, being honest, people can be assured from me, like, speaking from a person that uh, comes from a dancing culture, right? There are no pressure or expectations to be met here. I've experienced differently,
Mhm.
especially overseas in Ecuador. They expect you to already know some
Sure.
some moves. It's a little bit different and can be a little bit stressing sometimes. But here, the way Alex and Shelly and Mariami teaches, the way they teach the class, it's very they go in a very nice pace. They use humor a lot. They are very approachable, and they are very they make you feel like they are teaching to you. And something I love is they use a lot of how do you call it, how the world slipped out of my mind. Like they kind of, like, for example, if there's one that Alex always says, okay, you always have to do the T-Rex position to teach you. He's like,
Yeah.
he uses these kind of examples using real life or something funny. So he teaches you, because in dance, when you're dancing, you have to keep your knees flexed, right? So he says, okay, so take the T-Rex position, and everybody knows what's the T-Rex position, and we will go like this. And so he uses this type of teaching techniques that makes very easy for everybody to learn, and no one needs to feel threatened or that someone is gonna make fun or that is nothing like that. It's a very welcoming environment.
Awesome. And you had mentioned that people will stick around afterwards to hang out. And actually, one thing that the Toronto Dance Salsa does is these salsa like socials and parties. Could you talk a little bit about that? Because my understanding is now that as we are getting out of lockdown, that these type of events are coming back. So I'd love for you to paint the picture of like what is a Toronto Dance Salsa social.
Socials, okay.
Yeah.
One of the best things here in Toronto, not only in Willowdale, is that every day of the week you can go out and dance, right? And now Saturdays we're gonna have the chance to dance in our own neighborhood because Toronto Dance Salsa is reopening the socials. What are the socials? Basically, are kind of like a party where you're gonna listen to Latin music, basically bachata and salsa, and you're gonna find different levels, dancers with different ability levels. You're gonna find some of them are just beginners, and there are some that are very advanced. And sometimes people feel a little bit hesitant to participate, but if you have taken at least a level one, then you should go, because that's the way to lose fear
Mm.
and to really start dancing, because we don't really dance in a class all the time. You learn to dance because you want to interact in a social environment, in social event. So the socials are for that. It's people who likes to dance, and you can go and practice what you've learned. And I've found the dancing community in general, regardless of where you go, I haven't had a bad experience in the different places I've been to. in regards of the people, because people is very respectful, and that's a category, a characteristic here in Canada. Being honest, in this city, people is very respectful, people is very kind, and the dance community is like that. You can go to the socials, you can practice what you've learned, and you can have a great time. So this Saturday, coming Saturday, right? And it's gonna be on the second, April the second.
Yes.
It's
Yeah. So
gonna
for those
be
who are watching right now, it's coming up this Saturday, April 2nd. And for those who are listening to it after the fact or on in a recording or the podcast, seems that these are going to happen Saturday night. So if you go on the Facebook page, they're posting the events for when all the dates are happening. So it's exciting that they're coming back. But yeah, so maybe I cut you off. Go ahead and describe it a little bit more. I think you were saying like the time or
Yep.
a little bit more information.
It's gonna be on April the 2nd. I don't remember the time. You will have to go and visit the website, and you will find lots of information there. There's a really good blog that Alex has, and the Toronto Dance Salsa School promotes, and you will learn a lot about salsa and bachata. So the times and most detailed information,
Yeah.
you can check it at the website, Toronto Dance Salsa. And but definitely, if you know a little bit, or if you want experience, go and be brave and have that unique.
Yes.
Yes, it's a unique experience. If you
I think
haven't
it's like
done
who knew?
Latin music,
Yeah.
you should go. It's
And
very
who
different.
knew? Yeah. Who knew in Willowdale, like in Empress Walk, you could go and like have a Saturday night like salsa party. It sounds incredible. I think you can like take a class that Saturday night, and then afterwards, like around 10:30, 11 is when like after the class the party starts. So yes,
Yes.
like you said, all the information is
Yeah.
there. I have to check it out because it
Yeah,
sounds too
that's
good
it.
to be true.
It's you're saying something that is very relevant. You have a class before the social. You have a class. You have one bachata class and one salsa. So even if you are kind of like coming back after a while, you will be able to do some practice
A
before you
refresher.
exact the refresher before you go to the social. It's gonna be a big event. I'm really excited. Yeah, it's
Yes.
gonna
No,
be very.
that sounds awesome. I'm sold. And I will see the rest of my fellow Willowdellers there, I hope. So why don't we dive in now to the what we call the Willowdale rapid fire round. Um,
Okay.
yeah, so we're just gonna do some rapid fire questions about the neighborhood to finish things off tonight.
Mhm.
So my first question is, what is your favorite spot? And I think maybe I know the answer to hang out in Willowdale.
Yeah, yeah, you know the answer already, right? Toronto Dance Salsa. Mhm.
Amazing. Okay. Yeah. I think Alex is going to be happy with that answer too, which is great. Now my question is, what is your favorite place to eat in Willowdale?
Okay, I have two or three at least, but
Go
I
ahead.
will
Go ahead.
start. I will say, Sushi One is a very good one here in Yonge, next to next to the Pizza Hut, and also Waka Sushi, which is another good one, and Pastel Creperie
Oh,
was,
yeah.
my new favorite. My kids loved it. We went for my birthday, and they were so happy with the chocolate crepe. It's a very very rich neighborhood in the sense of we have so much restaurants, such a diverse community, Asian people, Indian people, Latin American people. So you can find pretty much every type of restaurant in the surroundings.
Hmm. Definitely. No, those are all good ones. Sushi One was my go-to high school sushi spot. Um, so we've touched on this a little bit, but what would you say, like what sets, and you especially kind of a globetrotter like yourself, what do you feel, how does Willowdale set itself apart from other places that you've lived in?
Okay. Okay, I think that what I like the most is that I have everything I need around here. So many times my clients ask me, okay, so where do you recommend we should live, or what's the criteria to select a place to live anywhere in the world, anywhere in Canada, or live close where you work, because commuting it's gonna make difficult part of your day if you have to commute 2, 3, 4 hours. If you're a student, try to live close to your school. So try to live or try to create a life around those fixed places where you're going to be um, gravitating around. And in my case, like my work is here. I live three blocks from here. I have everything I need here. Schools are great, restaurants, doctors. I think that whatever I need, I don't really have to go far. And not that the rest of the cities are not good; they are great. Each of them have their own, you know, benefits and things that stand out. But here, I really found a home. I really like it here. So, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's an answer I feel just from the small traveling I've done is, yeah, everything is so accessible, which is great.
So
Um,
close.
so I guess my next question would be, what or is there a hidden gem in the neighborhood that you'd be okay sharing with our listeners?
Okay, I know one.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna share it. Okay, just
Okay.
a second. Okay. I would say this book. Okay, it's
Built to
called Build
serve.
to Serve. Okay, and this book is how you find your one word.
Oh,
Like
okay.
this book was written by Evan Carmichael, and why I'm saying this is a jewel here in the because he is a local. Evan
Oh,
Carmichael is a writer, is a entrepreneur, is a thought leader, and he promotes entrepreneurship, and he coaches and helps entrepreneurs to find their values, to promote their business based on their values. So he is from here, from North York, and
oh,
probably you
wow.
didn't.
Mhm. And
Yeah.
one
So
more time, so
this
it's called
book,
Built to Serve.
where is it? The camera. Okay. Yeah, it's Built to Serve. That's the name of the book, and even the title is beautiful. So it's someone it's a word to look for. He has a great YouTube channel, and he is very very represented. He really represents the good values of Canada. I would say I start following him through Alex, and it's someone that it's really worth to get to know his work. And if you're asking a jewel, well, I would say that the best treasure of a place is people. So that I would say, yeah,
Yeah, the 100%. The
yeah.
talent within this neighborhood is incredible, and it's been a gift to kind of discover these treasures along the way through this series. So you're another one of those hidden gems for us here in Willowdale, Tanya. Is there something that you'd like to see more of, or you think Willowdale needs that you'd really like?
Okay. What I would like to see from a practical point of view, probably I would like to to have access to a network of nannies, kind of
Okay,
like
okay.
not too expensive nannies, right? Because for working moms, sometimes we need help, and it would be nice to have. Because I checked your website, and of course, many people from different walks of life, they get together there. So it would be nice to have maybe that reference if someone needs a nanny. If I need a nanny, I would love to have a trustable source where I can find one. And that's something I would definitely, that's from a practical stand, and from an inspirational kind of, I hope, I wish, I would like to see this neighborhood as, continue to see it as your tiny bit of heaven in earth.
Mm,
That's what your home should be, right? The place where you go and you have your tiny little piece of heaven. So everyone should have that possibility. It doesn't matter, how big or how luxurious. It's not about that. It's the place where you feel comfortable, where you feel secure, and where you really can grow and use your potential to the best, to the
awesome.
best you can.
100%. I have the honor of working alongside three incredible North York moms, and one resource that I've heard that has been that is really awesome in our neighborhood and even just in North York in general is the Facebook group North York Moms. And I know it's a really rich resource of sharing, knowledge and experience, or, asking a question or finding, a nanny or something like that. So for anyone listening who is in your similar boat and hasn't heard about that Facebook group, I know it's a really helpful resource for a lot of people, North York Moms. My
Yeah,
last
sure.
question for you, Tannia, is what is your most memorable Willowdale moment?
Okay, that that would definitely be Dempsey Park. Dempsey Park, it's the place where I would go with my kids when we arrived.
Mm.
That was the place where my kid made his first friend after waiting for almost 2 months. He was, looking at the kids around, and he was not not he was not feeling, he's not shy, but he was, because of the language or who knows why, he was just we just moved from Ecuador to Canada and to this neighborhood, and most of the time we would spend it over there because it's so beautiful. It's, a place that transmit peace and, and relaxation, and we will go there with them. My kids would make friends over there, and I would, just go and relax and have fun. So it's probably, my best memory, our time spent over there and at the NC Park. And the whole thing is so beautiful. The pictures you can take over there during summer, during winter, at fall, I have beautiful pictures there. So yeah, that would be the best memory I have.
I love that. Amazing. And on that sweet note, I could talk to you for hours and hours, but why don't we wrap it up there? I'm so grateful to have met you tonight, and gotten a chance to chat with you. So thank you for saying yes and for sharing your story with me and with our neighbors. I'm really grateful that you came on and you chatted with me tonight.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate this opportunity. Thank you. It was great.
Awesome. Thanks, Tannia. If you want to stick around, I'm just going to do some last announcements. I want to remind everyone before we head off to head to torontodancesalsa.ca for more information, like we've been talking about. You can head to their Facebook page as well for updates, especially if you're looking for dates and times regarding the classes or the social events as well. And while you're at it and you're on the search, you can follow us at NeighbourLink on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at NeighbourLinkNY. If you want to sign up for the community move-a-thon and barbecue I was talking about on April 30th, you can head to neighbourlink.org/let's move. That's neighbourlink.org/let's move. And next week, we're going to be back with another episode. I'm going to be speaking with Marla Weingarten from the North York Historical Society, which I'm really excited about. We hope to see you then. Same time, same place, new neighbors. Thanks again, Tannia. It was so nice to meet you.
Yeah.
And good night, Willowdale. Have yourself a wonderful week. We can dance it out. See you on the dance floor, Tannia.
See you.